Hello again, this is Dan Tarr, and basic Bible introduction today we'll be discussing the human equation. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." And so God created man in his own image, and in the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. God made man to reflect who he was, mainly a spiritual being. But notice, God says, "Let us make man in our image." He was referring to the three persons of the Godhead. And the best way I can describe that is, you have God the Father throne, and yet he displays himself to man in both a physical and spiritual way. Physically through his Son Jesus Christ, spiritually through the Holy Spirit, and yet meets every single need without ever leaving his throne, without ever giving up that power. And yet he delegates that power for man to rule his creation on the earth. That word dominion is maybe not what you'd think it is. So let's look it up. The Hebrew meaning of radah, dominion, is to tread down, subjugate, crumble, have dominion, prevail against, reign, rule over, take. So yes, God was delegating power to man to rule in his stead, which is hard to believe until we understand that is exactly what man will be doing if they believe in Jesus Christ, as Christ comes again, his second coming to earth, to rule over the earth before it is destroyed during the millennial reign. So God is trusting man to rule the earth for him within the limits of his laws and rules, with perfection to work with. Isn't that amazing? And God blessed them, and God said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion," there's that word again, "over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." God didn't want just man to take care of it, but to reproduce his image throughout all the earth. Our job from the beginning as human beings was to reflect God's glory and make sure that that glory, that image of God, is reproduced throughout the earth, and our job has not changed. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in the which is the fruit of a tree, yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat," and it was so. And God gave man the herbs of the field, the vegetation. Men were herbivores to begin with, showing that the emphasis is not in the physical being, but the spiritual being encased by a physical being. And so that spiritual being is reproduced by humans to rule the earth in a perfect world. Wow. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. God looked at it and said, "Not only is it good, but it's very good. It is perfect. I don't want it any other way." And so, what can we learn from these few words here in the end of Genesis 1? God made man to look like him spiritually. Obviously, he made us look differently physically. That's how man and woman are. But spiritually, to be reproduced. That means our focus should be to reproduce spiritual images of God in other people by promoting his glory. In doing so, we are promoting a kingdom that is ruled perfectly by our God, as it was meant to be from the beginning. Look forward to seeing you again soon. I hope you'll do your study and research in this passage, and we'll see you next time in the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.